I'm 88 now, 88 years, and I can feel every one of them in my bones, the aches, the quiet, the empty rooms that used to echo with laughter. I think about the mistakes I made, 7 of them, I suppose, that stand out above all the others. They're not dramatic. They're not even obvious, but they're mine, and I carry them every day. The first one. I waited too long to call home. I thought there would always be time. My mother, my father, my siblings, I assumed they'd always be there, just waiting for me to pick up the phone. And then I got busy, work, errands, pride, stubbornness. I told myself I'd call tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week, next month, and then years slipped by. When my father died, I hadn't spoken to him in over a decade. I didn't even hear his voice one last time. I still remember the hollow silence of the phone line after I hung up, except it wasn't hanging up on him anymore. The second mistake was thinking that being productive was more important than being present. I built a career, sure, made a name for myself. But at what cost? Birthdays missed, anniversaries I barely remembered, the slow, quiet fading of people who loved me without question. I didn't notice it then, of course. You're never aware of the small vanishings until they're gone. A holiday dinner where my children barely speak to me, a friend whose calls I put off because I had things to do. Everything stacked up quietly like dust on a forgotten shelf. The third mistake, I believed that saying sorry could wait. I hurt people, sometimes with words, sometimes with silence. I thought, they'll understand eventually. I thought they'd forgive me because they knew me. But some never did, and I never made the first move. My sister never came back around, and my wife. I regret the arguments I let fester. I wanted to be right, or at least feel right, when I should have just been gentle. The fourth mistake was assuming I could control the pace of life. I tried to steer everything, my career, my home, even relationships, like I was driving a car on a straight road. Life isn't a road, though. It's a river, and it bends. I tried to dam it. I tried to dictate its turns, and in doing so, I missed moments that couldn't be caught back up later. The first time my daughter learned to ride a bike, I wasn't there. The first time my son played a song he wrote, I was stuck at the office, thinking I'd have time later. Later never came. Fifth, I underestimated loneliness. You don't realize it when you're busy, or when you have a partner, or when the house is full. But the quiet sneaks up. After my wife passed, the silence was deafening, and I remembered all the small moments I could have shared but didn't. Sitting on the porch, watching the sun fall, laughing over a shared cup of coffee, and I never made time for them. I thought I had company in my routine. I didn't. The sixth mistake. I held grudges far too long. It felt righteous at the time. But the truth is, grudges are just heavy rocks you carry in your chest. They steal the light from everything else. I let a friend go, a man I knew since I was 20. A silly argument over nothing. We never spoke again. I realize now that those little wounds are the ones that hurt most in old age. They linger. They don't fade with time. They just settle deeper into your bones. The seventh, I didn't forgive myself. I was always harder on myself than on anyone else. I carried shame for the things I'd said, the things I'd left undone, the things I'd failed to notice. And it's exhausting carrying all of that. You live your life thinking tomorrow will be kinder, thinking you'll have a chance to make it right. But tomorrow becomes decades. And now I sit here, looking back at an 88-year life and wondering if I've been crueler to myself than anyone else ever was. It's strange the way regrets pile up, not like a single thunderstorm, but like tiny leaks in a roof. One day you notice the water has ruined the ceiling, but the drips were always there. I see them clearly now, all 7 mistakes, all the small ways I missed my life. I think about the day I stopped calling home. That day, I assumed it wouldn't matter. I assumed people would understand. I assumed time would give me another chance. It didn't. And now I can't call back. There's no one on the line. No voice to hear. No laughter to catch. Only echoes of what used to be, and me sitting here, wishing I had picked up the phone just one more time. Do I dwell on it every moment? No, but I carry it like a shadow, soft but constant. I think maybe that's how life is for most of us. Not with grand tragedies, but with small, silent omissions that become impossible to fix. If I could whisper anything to someone younger, I suppose it would be this. Don't assume there will be more time than there actually is. Don't let your days slip by thinking that later will be easier, or more convenient, or somehow less scary. Call home. Say what you need to say. Sit with the people you love, even when you're tired, even when you think it's trivial. These moments are the only ones you can be sure of. I'm not angry, not anymore, just quietly aware. Life is shorter than you think, and you don't get a second chance to hear someone's voice or see them smile before they're gone. I can't fix the past. I can't make my father answer the phone, or my children come back to a Christmas I ignored. All I can do is remember and try not to forget the lessons buried in these mistakes. And that's how it is at 88. The mistakes, the regrets, they don't define me entirely, but they follow me. They sit beside me in the quiet. Sometimes they ache, sometimes they whisper, sometimes they're just there. And in the stillness of the evening, I accept them. Because there's nothing left to do but remember and maybe, just maybe, hope that remembering is enough.